All right, next says, what role does competition play in international trade? 1 says it results in higher prices, 2 says it drives down prices for consumers, 3 says it discourages imports, and 4 says it does away with the need for investment. So this is something that ties really well into this idea of globalization, where there's no such thing as just a domestic economy. There's now, or a domestic market. You have the global market now. Excuse me. And so, in that sense, it promotes international competition as well, right? Firms that used to only have to produce to compete against other firms in their domestic economy now have to compete against firms that exist in other countries. And so we know that as competition increases, there's less and less, there's more and more motivation to beat other people. And basically, one way you can beat other competitors is to price them out. And so that results in lower prices. And so that's one of the big things that happens with the role of competition in international trade. Let's take a look at the answer choices. A says it results in higher prices. Again, we're talking about competition. Most of the time, it's competition that's driving down prices. You can imagine scenarios that we know that in a monopoly or an oligopoly market or a monopolistically competitive market, the prices are higher than we expect in perfect competition, where we say the difference is a monopoly has one firm and a perfectly competitive market has a theoretically infinite number of firms or a massive amount of firms for maximum competition, right? So it's not going to drive up prices, it's going to drive down prices. And that's exactly what 2 says. That is going to drive down prices for consumers. And so that's going to match up really well. Let's take a look at the other ones just to make sure. 3 says it discourages imports. That's incorrect. If we have more global competitors, then it's more likely we discover global competitors that we would like more or are pricing at a lower point. That's going to increase imports, not decrease, right? So imports is a byproduct of international trade. And finally, 4, it does away with the need for investment. And that's not true, right? International trade, if anything, encourages investment because now we don't just have domestic investment, we also have foreign investment, money from other countries flowing into our economy in order to invest in things that are happening here. And so that's not going to be correct as well. So it really seems that 2 is the best answer here, that the role that competition plays in international trade is to drive down prices for consumers. And so that's exactly what we're going to find ourselves saying. 2 says, the previous tutor also said 2, and they said that one of the greatest benefits of competition which arises in international trade is the derived reduction in prices of goods and services. As more and more firms attempt to penetrate foreign markets, they find themselves challenged by fierce competition from each other. Competition becomes intense, and each firm attempts to maximize its share of and presence in international markets. This leads to significant price cuts for consumers who benefit from competition. World prices are generally lower when domestic prices in goods are standardized. Good.